Olé.
Olé. All right. Hey, Joe.
What's up, Julie?
Not much. Let's drink.
Sweet.
No. Cheers. Thank you so much for taking the time
No
to
problem.
join. So I guess we can kind of just like jump on in. I can start asking you questions.
Do it.
Okay. So, did you want to be a stunt guy before you were an actor, or did what happened first?
Acting happened first. I did an acting class in middle school, and that kind of got me into it. And then high school, I started doing parkour, which is what got me into stunts. Because when you are an actor who can do flips and stuff, they kind of just like, this is what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
So it was acting first, and then stunts came later.
Did you ever do any of those school plays?
Absolutely, yeah.
What were you?
Or
like which ones?
Freshman year, I was in the musical. We did Guys and Dolls. Sophomore year.
Were you just like ensemble, or did you ever?
Yeah, I was just in the background now.
Yeah.
I was a freshman, so I wasn't. And it's a musical. I don't sing. Yeah. I can carry a tune, but that's not my thing.
Was it? I just want to say, in junior year, in our high school, we did. Was it Beauty and the Beast? And I had to be the plate. I was like, I had this like backpack with this big cardboard plate. I don't have any pictures. I need to find it. But I was just walking around like, yeah, I'm in the musical, guys.
How many believe me?
Yeah. I was proud of it.
We just got to wear like these, because it was Guys and Dolls, so it's like 50, so we got to wear these zoot suits. I had a big purple one.
Were you already parkouring at the time?
I just started, because I started my freshman year of high school, which was 2008.
Well, I guess there's no reason to have you be flipping in that musical.
Oh, I did some anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're like, hey guys.
And they're like, and you got 8 counts to do kind of whatever, and I was like, I got some whatever.
Got it.
I think sophomore year I didn't do any plays because I was terrible at school and my grades were always bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a shame. Kids.
I'm not into homework.
I know.
But do your homework.
Do your homework.
I mean,
Uncle
why should
Joe
you have to
says.
do their job on your time? But that's none of my business.
Yeah. That's a different tangent.
That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
And then junior year we did oh crap, what was it called?
Did you ever have any like speaking lines? Or was
Yeah.
it always just kind of like.
Yeah, junior year we did How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Okay,
That's a musical, and I played Mr. Bigley. He's like this 40-year-old man.
I totally see it.
And then we did this like kind of double play. There was one called Juvie, where we all just played kids being interviewed and
in
Juvie.
That's perfect because that one year you were the bad student, and it was your life
and
experience.
the next year,
Boom.
and it was so fun because I got to wear like a cutoff sleeve shirt.
Oh my god, what's more badass than that?
Because I look like I go to Juvie. I'm a terrible kid. And then
You're like the most wholesome person ever.
It's the look, man. It's the look. But
use the look.
And then senior year we did Annie, and we also did Romeo and Juliet, where I got to play Romeo.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice. So wait, okay, 2 plays. This Annie and was it like a fall and a summer?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we usually did the musical early on in the year, and then the final play later on.
Yeah. But here's the thing, you can like kind of mess around in the high school musicals and everything, but then there's a point where you're like, oh, I'm going to do this forever. So when did that happen?
Probably end of my freshman year, we did we had 2 things. We did this like Dickens festival, where it was like anything by Charles Dickens. They like gave the surrounding high schools the same script, and they're like, all right, everyone put on a production of it, do your own thing.
Yeah.
Whoever is the best gets to perform at the Dickens Festival that happens in downtown Riverside.
Oh, that's cool.
So, freshman year I got cast as the Artful Dodger in that one. So we did that, and we won, and we performed downtown. Yeah. And then we also had a theater competition that we did with all the other high schools, and I won first place for monologue.
Nice. And that probably went all the way to your head, and you're like, I'm going to Hollywood.
Like, well, it was something I was finally good at, because like when I was growing up, I played baseball, which like I'm athletic, but not that.
Not
kind
like
of
sport.
No, I was terrible.
Yeah.
Like when I started high school, my dad was like, "You gonna audition for the baseball team?" And I was like, "No," and he was like, "Really? You're not?" I'm like, "I suck at this game," and he was like, "Yeah, you do."
You're more of a singer.
Yeah, I was like, we agreed to disagree. They're like, "Yeah, man, I'm just not good at baseball."
Yeah.
And then starting parkour and starting acting was like, oh, finally something I'm good at.
Yeah.
These are things I can finally do.
Okay, question. So when you start parkour, I imagine you're a freshman kid just pulling up YouTube videos, watching guys kind of bounce around.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and then you're like, I'm going to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Did you ever make your own videos on YouTube?
Oh, yeah. There's some old ones. They're really old, bad ones.
So they're not good. You're just kind of like jumping.
Oh, man. If you want to look them up,
Mm-hmm.
oh, God, it was like King High School Parkour. It was like me, the guy who ended up being the best man at my wedding, Marco Cerna, and then a good friend of mine, Kyle Manning, all just started together. Because this is back when parkour wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
Like, you would start doing it at a park and people were like, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? And you'd have to explain what parkour was. You don't have to do it anymore. But this was when nobody knew what it was and there were no gyms to go to, so it was just literally like, oh, I guess I'm just going to look at this video.
Yeah.
Try it out. So
I imagine you get hurt a lot.
I mean, you're young enough then that it was like, oh man, my elbow kind of hurts. And then 2 days later, you're like, I'm going to try that again.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so you said you grew up near LA?
Riverside, so it's like an hour away, depending on traffic.
Yeah.
But yeah, far enough that like I didn't really visit all that much.
Yeah, and you don't feel like you're actually.
No, I wouldn't say I'm from LA.
Okay, so was it hard to move here though? Because I feel like that's close enough you can still go home for laundry.
Yes. Yeah. It's a thing I like to say a lot where like I meet people out here and it's like, oh yeah, man, I packed up my dreams and I hopped on a plane and I came to LA and I'm like,
my mom dropped me off.
I packed all my stuff and I drove like 45 minutes. There was no traffic that day, so
it was a good day.
It was pretty good, yeah. Everyone's like, oh man, I need all this time off to go home for the holidays, and I'm like, I'll just leave at noon.
I know.
Make it there for dinner.
I know, I'm so mad. I'm from San Francisco, so it takes 5 hours to get there, so it's like just far enough that it's a little hard to
you
coordinate.
Can't go there whenever you want.
Yeah, where it's like I was going to try to not request the days off work and be like, oh, I can wing it, and then I'm like, oh, no, I'm just scheduled every day. Okay, so how long have you been living here then? Did you move right out of college or high school? Did you go to college?
Yeah, so me and my wife both got accepted to the same acting school.
Oh, nice.
And that was part of the reason we got married so young was basically like we were both going to go to this school. We were both going to move to LA, move in together. And we were like, well, you want to play house or you just want to do this? So we got married, moved to LA. We did a year at AMDA, the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. And since we were doing their 2-year program, we had the option to either stay there in LA for 2 years or do 1 year in LA and 1 year in New York.
You do that?
We did that.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, because my wife does musical theater mostly, so she sings and dances and does all that. So we thought the plan was we're going to do 1 year in LA, 1 year in New York, and then stay in New York because that's where musical theater is. You're already there,
and
And so
all the Broadway.
We go to New York after LA, and it was not a place I'd like to live. Great place to visit.
Yeah.
Not my scene.
It's funny. Some people say like, "Oh, New York's the best," and I mean, I do love New York too, but I really like LA more.
It's cool, but man, I don't like subways. Subways. But
So when you were in New York, did you just focus on doing the school, or did you ever try to do like short films and projects outside of that?
We really didn't have the time because the program we were in, it's a 2-year intensive. So basically, you're getting a bachelor's in 2 years, and they're just cutting out all like the
general ed.
Yeah, the general ed stuff. You just didn't have to deal with that. It was just all the curriculum courses. So we didn't get a bachelor's, but if I ever wanted one, I could just go back, do general eds, and then get it.
Yeah.
So we didn't have time. We were like running 6 classes a day.
Yeah.
And then you had obviously rehearsals and memorizing lines and all this kind of stuff outside of that.
Huh. Okay. How was it? Was it hard to get into that program? Like, did you have to go auditions?
There were auditions,
and how long? What was that whole process like?
My wife went to one, and they had, because it was a musical theater, they had like they had 2 days, I think it was, where it was like they did a dance and singing one, and then they had an acting portion.
Yeah.
And for me, because I was just doing the studio program, which is just acting, I had one day where I just had to read 2 conflicting monologues, where one was serious and one was comedic. So
that's pretty easy.
Yeah, it was pretty easy, but like I was stressing hard after because she had already got accepted.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh man, if I don't get accepted, it's gonna be real weird.
Yeah, but you're gonna be so mad at her.
Yeah, and then we got accepted, and that was kind of it. But yeah, it was so busy.
Like, do you know? I mean, with those kind of programs, I guess some are more exclusive than others. But do you know like what percentage of people actually get in?
I think it was
to acting school.
I think it was it's either like 70-30 or 80-20.
Okay.
It definitely wasn't like half. It was less
Yeah.
than half get accepted. So we definitely felt like, oh yeah, sweet. So we're not just like we weren't just high school good at this.
Yeah.
We're actually good at this.
Yeah.
Which was like a big distinction that I wanted to make after I'd left high school.
Yeah,
So.
because you're there in high school and there's not that many people to compete with, and you're like, okay, so is it just because everyone here is interested in something else and I'm the only one who's trying?
Yeah, and like we pull into the auditions and there's plates from like Arizona, Utah, and I'm like, oh, people are coming out of state for this.
Yeah.
Oh,
bring
crap.
your A game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel like your whole experience in a college program, was that worth it, or do you think that's kind of unnecessary? Because I've heard both ways.
I feel like there can be some programs that feel unnecessary.
Yeah.
But what's nice about AMDA is all the teachers there are working actors, and a lot of people that I've talked to that went to AMDA, and I mean this is just my like experience of it, but a lot of the people who are kind of naysayers of it, and they're like, oh yeah, I definitely didn't get my money's worth, are the people who didn't work as hard.
Yeah.
Because the teachers are working actors, you come in, you do a scene, they say, all right, work on these 3 things. You come back in, and you haven't worked on them. The scene looks pretty much the same.
And there's nothing for them to even know.
Yeah, the teachers just kind of sits there and go, all right, make stronger choices. Next. And then they would give 30 minutes of attention to the scene that was completely different, and there were strong choices and different movements happening. So they're like, oh yeah, okay, now we can dig into the deep nitty gritty of the scene.
Yeah.
So I would say it is good if anything, they taught me more about the industry. Because they are working actors, they'd be like, all right, yeah, so this scene was good. Also, watch out for this when you're a working actor.
Yeah.
So,
that's what people need, because you look stuff up and like there's all this technical information, but there's all the ins and outs that no one tells you, and you have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And you make good contacts. Like I still am in touch with a lot of people from acting school, and we'll trade back and forth on like gigs. Like, oh hey, I'm doing this thing, and they need this kind of guy. I knew you'd be perfect for that. And
Yeah. So you ultimately think it's worth it? Like, would you ever, if you could go back in time and decide to either go to college for it or not, do you think you would?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's worth it? Cool.
Yeah, I definitely did learn things. I don't want to underplay that. I definitely got better because of it.
Yeah. Maybe, even if it's confidence, half the battle is, like, okay, I'm going to go here, learn, now I know it, now I know I can do it.
Yeah, you're coming out of school and you're going like, all right, I have all this knowledge, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Bring on the auditions.
And then you start in the auditions, you're like, holy shit,
oh god,
this is real.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah, so after college, how did you, so you moved back to LA?
Yeah, so the plan of staying in New York got ruined because, well, I don't want to say it got ruined, but my wife took an acting for the camera class as like an elective while we were there. And she's like, oh my god, Joe, I love this.
I'm going to be a
camera was so awesome. And I was like, all right, so we flew back to
That's
LA.
what you said about the stage, but okay.
So we moved in with some friends in Oceanside. Stayed there for about a year, saving up money.
I feel like I should know where Oceanside is.
It's by San Diego.
Okay.
It's just like 20 minutes shy.
Yeah, I was like trying to think in my list of LA places that I, like, nah, nothing, like, yeah.
But so we moved there with some friends from high school, and after about a year, we moved up here, and that was 4 years ago? I think 4 years ago. Something like that.
It passes fast.
It
Been
does.
here like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
It's like almost a whole high school experience. That is almost
That's
a whole
right.
high
Nate,
school.
we're looking at Nate. He's off camera.
Yeah, like Nate.
Oh.
Ben? No.
I'm a real person too.
Yeah.
He exists.
I'm real. Yeah, so how do you feel like it's going? Or like what you expected? I mean, I guess it's almost never what you expect.
It's never what you expect, but it's one of those things where, like, the teachers at AMDA would give you advice, and they'd be like, oh, watch out for this, look out for this, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it happens, and you're like, oh, that's what they
thing.
were talking about.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like how they were, like, now, because of people like you and other people I've met out here, I get acting jobs from, like, a person calling me and being like, hey, so we need a guy who can do this, we know you can handle it. Can you make it on the set?
Yeah.
And, like, that's something they talked about. And they were like, make sure you make good friends.
Make
you network.
friends. That's the biggest thing.
Make the right friends. Make the friends who are motivated to make stuff.
Yeah, and people who keep inspiring you.
Yeah.
And also, oh my God, I mean, I'm not that I'm just gonna just take this over. This is totally your interview, but I just this.
I mean, it's your podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but also don't make friends with the like intent of using them. Just make friends with people who you genuinely like to hang out with and want to do things with.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
I would say like.
Yeah.
People who are genuine as well,
Mm-hmm.
because even if they're genuine bartenders, that's what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that they're a genuine person, and genuine people seem to
Mm-hmm.
have that genuine crowd. So if someone's genuinely a genuine person,
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying genuine.
Yeah,
if someone's like a genuine person.
It's
Yeah.
important
Then-
thing to
Yeah.
hammer in. Yeah.
Then like you know you ain't getting like shit from them. You know you ain't getting like BS from them.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So
Yeah.
like if they're pursuing a certain art, you know, like because art's mesh.
Yeah, you have
art,
to.
makeup, stuff like that. You know that they're a genuine person. They have a genuine circle. So
Exactly. Like.
you know they're not going to be trying to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
You can all help each other instead of looking at it as a con or
Yeah.
you're just using people.
Don't kick people out because they're not in your industry or whatever. You know. I
Yeah.
mean, what is it like? I just work at a restaurant, so I'm working with a bunch of up and coming artists. But you know, there's people in bands, and they've agreed to do music for some of my short films, or like there's a DJ and he's like, yeah, I'll totally make the score for that, or singers who will be the background singer in the bar scene we need, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can use everyone,
Exactly.
and you should, but genuinely.
Yeah.
Just be a cool person.
That's right. Yeah, living in LA and trying to be an artist is hard enough without like fake friends and things like that.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Actually, yesterday I was talking to this guy and he was like maybe mid-30s, which isn't old or anything, but he was saying, you know, like, is it time that I should give up my dream? Or no, you know, and I was like, why would you give up now? You know, but I guess after so many years of what probably feels like constant rejection, yeah, how do you?
We were talking about this the other day, talking about some actors we were big fans of, and we started looking them up, and it was like, oh, this guy got his start when he was like his first big break, like in a major motion picture, was like 41.
Yeah.
This guy did it when he was 36. This guy
But
was
I
like
don't want
already.
to be that old when
This guy was
you know,
already
it's so
35,
funny.
and it's like.
Yeah, it's not like that's even old, but it's like I want to be like
I mean,
right
yeah,
now.
you want to be younger when you do it,
Yeah.
but like.
But it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I made the same kind of promise when I first moved out to LA. All right, I give myself 5 years.
Yeah.
If I'm not like doing stuff and like making good money in 5 years, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
cut
Ooh,
bait.
you're at year 4.
I'm at
Joe.
4, but like
You're gonna leave us?
I've given up. I mean, I don't want to
Yeah.
say it. I guess I've achieved it. Like
Yeah.
I don't have a survival job anymore.
Yeah.
Like all my jobs are performing jobs.
God, that's so
That's how I
awesome.
make my
I'm
money.
not there yet. Yeah, Nate is clapping, everyone.
God, it's so good because I used to.
How?
Okay, so you got to be ready, because I worked overnights at a grocery store.
You
We
did?
were working
That's
from
when I-
10 at night to
yeah.
6 in the morning, and then if that's not enough money, then you have to work at the Cheesecake Factory.
Did you do that?
Yeah, so I worked the graveyard shift at the grocery store,
Yeah.
10 to 6, and then I had to be at the Cheesecake Factory at 11. Work there till 5 or 6, depending on you know, it's a restaurant. Things
Yeah.
happen. Get back home.
Make a couple Instagram parkour videos.
Make a couple Instagram
because you gotta
parkour videos.
promote
Yeah.
yourself.
Take a nap, wake up, go back to the grocery store,
Oh my
and then
God.
you just flip flop from job to job, and then you're
That's
like,
the grind. Oh
I
my
don't
God.
have any work today. I can actually like try to shoot something.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah. So you gotta.
Did you ever feel like, you know, this is impossible, it's never gonna happen, I'm working all these jobs and nothing, you know? You know the feeling.
You definitely get that feeling, but that's back to like those friends that you have. Those friends were like, hey man,
Yeah.
do you have a day off today? Like, yeah, I do, and they
Yeah.
motivate you to like, oh dude, we're thinking about shooting this thing. We can talk about the script and we
Yeah.
can do this, and they're like, oh yeah. So like, you will be tired, but you have to be able to motivate yourself to do something on your day off, because that's not your job.
Yeah.
Like, that's your that's what you do to pay rent. Your job is to be an artist. Like, that's the mindset you have to have.
It's
They're
easy
like,
to forget it too.
They're like, oh
Yeah.
sweet, I don't have work today, I can work on my stuff.
Yeah.
Like my things, not other things that I'm doing them for them.
Yeah.
So it's a good mindset to have. You
Yeah.
gotta have that.
It's funny because I started like producing my own short films now, and I have a lot lined
It
up
is
for myself.
hard, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But like, you know, I realized these past 3 years, it's only been 3 years, but you know, I'm living, you know, like relatively comfortable with a serving job and kind of doing a little acting stuff on the side. But now that all the money's going to be going into these projects, I'm like, why am I not picking up a second job so that I can make these as amazing as I can? So hearing that you were working all those hours is kind of making me be like,
oh, dude, it was rough
gotta
though.
hustle.
At the worst of it, it was like 5 days a week here, 5 days a
Yeah.
week at the other job, and I was a zombie.
Yeah.
I just didn't exist.
So did that? Oh yeah, I had the same kind of. I know that feeling. It sucks. And you're like, why am I even alive?
Yeah, you just
when
wake
I'm
up and you're
just
like, time to
waking
go to
up
work,
and working?
take a nap,
Yeah.
time to go to work.
So like, I guess what saved you or stopped you from doing that was it the Universal job?
Yes.
Yeah. So how was the transition from working all those real jobs, retail or whatever, to performing?
It was kind of slow. Like I got can we curse on this?
Fuck yeah.
I got a fire lit under my ass
Mm-hmm.
after so I do parkour obviously, and I had
So literally, someone set your ass on fire.
I had
and told you to jump.
I had a knee injury where I had to have surgery, and I kind of put off having the surgery because we were going to shoot a Star Wars short film where I had to do a lightsaber fight. So
is this the one that Vasily were? Yeah, I remember that. Okay, cool.
And so I put off the surgery so I could do the fight. We just kind of cut out all my flips, and
that's insane that you'll still flip with a knee injury. I just want to throw that out there.
I cut most of them. I only did like 2 little tricks, but so I had my knee surgery, and then I was basically wasn't able to do anything for pretty much like a year and a half because of the initial injury, and then waiting for the surgery, and then having the surgery.
Yeah.
And then so I just was like, oh man, I need to get into something. Like I finally have this new knee that I can work on again.
This bionic leg.
Yeah, and then there were auditions for the Durmstrang.
How'd you hear about those?
There's a place, if anyone does parkour or like anything acrobatic really, there's a place in LA called JAM. It stands for Joining All Movement. Look it up. It's near Van Nuys. It's awesome. You'll always make contacts there. Everyone there is in the stunt industry or trying to get into the stunt industry, so it's super cool to go there. But yeah, I just saw that they just had listings up like looking for trickers and parkour people, so I was like, went to the audition. I couldn't do much because my knee was still healing.
Yeah.
But what I could do, they were impressed by.
Did you tell them about that?
No.
Didn't you? Yeah. I was be like, hey, I'm here, but I am injured.
No, but I did.
Be for a while.
During part of our audition, we fight with staffs on stage. So during part of the audition, I broke the staff.
Really?
And I was like, so I walked up. I was like, hey, I broke your guys' staff. I had brought one with me. Can I use that? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I gave them the staff, bring mine, and I'm just like, that's it.
That's how you be prepared.
I was like, I didn't get it. That's it.
Yeah.
I broke their stuff. I'm screwed. And then got that. And then like 3 days later, I had an audition for a Three Musketeers stunt show in Virginia. And I ended up getting that one too. Oh, nice. So it was this weird situation where like I just got hired at Universal, and then I have to tell Universal like, hey, I'm going away for 3 months over the summer.
Yeah.
So.
Were they cool with it?
I mean, they were cool with it, yeah.
It's the kind of job that would transition with people pretty well, you know?
Yeah,
like
they just hired like 12 people, so they were like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, did that, came back, and I think I worked at the grocery store for maybe 4 or 5 months when I got back from Virginia, so I kind of switched back from, now I'm going from Durmstrang, which is more stressful and hard on your body than working at Cheesecake Factory is. Then I was going from Durmstrang to overnight shifts, back and forth, and then because I was able to save up some money from going to Virginia, we were getting paid pretty well.
Nice.
I saved up enough money that I could like quit the
overnight.
Yeah, overnight job, and it was amazing.
God, how did it feel giving them? Did you do 2 weeks notice, or did you just say like fuck it? I always do 2 week notices. I'm a nice person. I always feel like I never want to like let people down. And I always feel so much like tension when I go like up to the manager and give it to them. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I think I was going to give them my 2 weeks notice, and then there were some managers that were just being real a-holes, and so I was like, no, fuck that. So we just
That's so cool.
I think like some event in my life happened, and I'd gotten some like $50 gift card to the Cheesecake Factory, so I thought it very appropriate that we drove with my roommates to Smart and Final where I was working. Yeah. And I just walked in. I was like, "Here's my letter of resignation. I won't be there tomorrow night." Later, and then we went to the Cheesecake Factory, spent my $50 gift card. And I was like,
it's not even money.
That's it. Well, I mean, we paid more.
I know, but it's like you're triumphant. Like, yeah, I'm a baller now. Here's my gift card.
And I'm like, I'm done with you and Cheesecake Factory. I remember you. You were cool.
Give me cake.
Give me cheesecake. So good.
What was it like going was it West Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to film. Like, so how did
it wasn't filming. It was a
film
stage
stuff?
show.
Okay, so yeah, how did you hear about that opportunity and like just traveling for 3 months for work?
That one I found out about on Backstage. I think it was.
That was you can finish. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, I thought of a follow-up question.
Found out about it on Backstage. Yeah. And I went to that audition like 3 or 4 days after the Durmstrang audition. And that one went really well. I was pretty much I was there the second day they had auditions. And I was pretty much, except for my buddy Josh, who I work with now at Pirates, we were like the best trickers there.
Yeah.
And then they had us do some sword work and some scene work.
Question.
Yes.
So, production like that, they were auditioning people in LA, or were they auditioning
LA and
people?
New York.
Okay, but so people should be living in LA or New York, because it's not like someone who is living in West Virginia or like Georgia could get that opportunity.
No, because it was a third-party company, so it was like we were working at. If anyone's from the East Coast, they probably know Busch Gardens.
I've heard of it. Yeah, the theme park.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that the one? Wait, that's not in Florida, is it?
They have one in Florida.
Yeah, but sorry, I used to live in Florida. I remember Busch Gardens, and they had a roller coaster called King to Ka. It was apparently really fast. Every roller coaster everyone has is the fastest roller coaster.
It's the fastest roller coaster.
Yeah, everyone
on the
says
East
that.
Coast, on the West Coast, on this side of the Andes.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Anyway, sorry, I got on a tangent. It was a blast from my past.
But yeah, they had auditions in LA and New York.
Yeah.
Went to those, got cast, and then it was flying out to Virginia. And interestingly enough, one of my good friends from AMDA got cast in it because he still lived in New York, and I get my like our, what would you call it? Just like our living situation email, and it was like, all right, cool, these are your roommates, and it was like, Trevor.
So you actually got the same roommate?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I texted him out of nowhere, and I'm like, hey, what's up, roomie? And he was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, did you get the email yet?
Stop.
So it's super interesting that we just like ended up being roommates, but
it's funny how ultimately, like, even though it seems like there's so many people in the industry, it is a small world.
It's small.
Yeah.
You're gonna meet some person, you're gonna be like, oh, I'll never see them again, and then you're gonna see them all the time.
You're randomly gonna get booked on the same thing. You're like, oh shoot, now we're friends.
It's gonna happen a lot. Get ready for it.
Yeah.
But then it was 3 months out there. I think my wife came to visit like a month and a half through.
Yeah.
And then just flew back. But it was an awesome experience. Met a lot of really cool people. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
Got to do some fun stunts.
Yeah. So now you're back and you have the 2 jobs. You have the Durmstrang job and then Pirates. Yeah. Do you go on auditions?
Yeah.
A lot, or still, or is it not really a priority?
It's still a priority, but right now we're trying to like, me and my friend groups are trying to like make our own stuff right now.
What kind of stuff?
So right now, that Star Wars thing we're talking about, there was, and this is another thing about patience in this industry, shit's gonna happen. So like we filmed it.
Yeah.
And then the guy we paid a bunch of money to do all the special effects for just drops off the radar.
Oh, I kind of heard about this.
And for 6 months, you're messaging him going, hey man, so what's the update?
What's going on?
Anything with that?
That's
Don't
so
hear
messed
anything.
up.
And then so now we have another guy working on the special effects. He's almost done with the lightsabers. Then all we have to do is just the blasters and stuff.
Yeah.
So we filmed that.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years ago, and now that might be coming out in the next couple of months. So.
You know, actually, that's something. Oh, another beer.
Sure.
That's something that. What was it? I remember talking to someone about. Thank you, sir. Where it's like right now we're doing all these projects and we're still like struggling or whatever, and these projects aren't really coming up yet. But once they're all done, maybe in a year or two, randomly they'll all start coming up in like film festivals, and people are gonna be like, wow, they have so many projects they must have done this year. But no, it's been like accumulation of 3 years work.
You have no idea
of just like all this like hustle, and then all of a sudden you have 5 projects came out because this whole time I've been busting my ass.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's out of nowhere, but it's planting seeds and hoping they grow.
It's interesting seeing it from the other side of the table. Cheers.
Yeah.
When like as an actor, your kind of thing is you show up at the audition, you do your thing, you get booked, you're there for 2 days on set, boom, I'm out later. Yeah. But now that I'm on the other side, now it's like, oh man, we were planning this 4 months ago, writing the script, and then we just held the auditions, and then now we like cast everyone, and now we're trying to get like a trailer shot and try to do a GoFundMe thing. So it's planting little seeds, and then they grow very slowly over time.
Back when I was like only acting, it felt so helpless. You know, like I started off with like confidence. I'm like, yeah, you know, but then you just realize, one, it's not a bad thing if you're not picked, because you have no idea what they're looking for.
You can never know why you didn't get picked.
But as soon as I started making my own projects, I'm like, what the hell am I waiting around for? You know, like, because I'm literally writing these things for myself. And it's just, like, the feeling has completely changed. And I'm involved in the process, and it just, you feel more like an artist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you get to make choices. What's up?
Do you have a problem?
Nate, you don't have to raise your hand, Nate.
No, you have to. I love raising my hand.
I was going to say, like, can y'all speak more on that? The contrast between actor versus producer? Like, making your own thing versus that?
Yeah.
Like, any,
okay, well.
Are there any pros and cons to either one? Like it?
Yeah, no, there definitely are. Let me think. So, acting, I feel like I'm just sitting around hoping for an audition. Oh my god, and I remember waiting so long for an agent, and then getting agents, going on a few auditions, and then being like, this is the exact same thing, just with, you know...
Just they're taking some of my money.
I mean, I'll gladly give them my money if I get projects, But I just realized, you know, when you're an actor, you sit there and you're like, okay, the doors will be open once I get an agent, and you get an agent, and you go to better auditions, be like, this is the exact same thing. You know, nothing's really changed, you're just going to, like, different doors, if that makes sense. And... once I started making my own things, I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting here with writers, and we're writing a part for me, and we're giving it all these, like, juicy character development things, and, you know, I get to be involved in rehearsals and talk to DPs, and what I also really like about it, sorry, I'm totally going on a tangent, because now that I'm more involved, I'm sitting down with the other producers, and I'm meeting... different directors, I'm meeting different DPs, I'm meeting like sound guys, and I'm actually making connections with these people who will go on to other projects and keep me in mind if they need anything. So it just, you don't understand how much there is once you just take initiative and create your own thing.
That was a big thing to emphasize when I was at AMDA. Because there was like, you know, acting is, most of it is the way you look. So like, they're like, don't wait for somebody else to cast you. Cast yourself. Make your own work. Do your own stuff. That's the only way, like, you're going to be able to put a reel together. Because this business is, at the end of the day, unfortunately, like, bigger productions, it's about the money. And they just need to know that you can deliver. So you make your own projects. Like, for me, I do a lot of, like, action kind of comedy stuff. Because no one's going to... Just the way I look now, no one really takes me seriously as, like... the gruff kind of like I'm not gonna be like the cool guy or the drug
addict. You're not
addict.
a mobster.
I'm not a mobster.
You could be a drug addict, but like the good guy gone drug addict.
I'm like I'm like the best friend, or I'm like the funny guy. So like make your own projects where you play the funny guy and you do it the best you can, and then when they ask you for a reel, and you're like, here's the stuff. You wanted a funny guy? Boom, this is all my stuff doing the funny guy.
But then also, make other projects where you're not the funny guy.
Oh, exactly.
And
that
you
Star
just
Wars
prove.
Thing. That Star Wars thing, I was a villain, which was super fun.
I remember seeing some of the stuff.
Yeah, I had red hair, it was super long, and my wife hated it.
She didn't like you being redheaded?
No. She told me after, like, I think after I got it cut, I was like, man, I miss my long hair. She goes, I don't. I'm like, you didn't like my long hair? She goes, I hate it. I'm so glad you got it cut. I'm like...
Isn't her hair kind of red?
It is now. Yeah, she just dyed it.
I was like, well, that's contradictory.
It's one of those things. That's not what she signed up for. My hair looked like this for...
Signed up for. But you're an actor. You're going to be changing. You had blonde hair when we met, and you're going to have blonde hair when we die.
I swear.
Okay. Do you have... So, right now, are you only working on that Star Wars thing, or do you have like a few different...
We're working on... couple different things. We ended up we shot this thing a really long time ago. Called Johnny the Girl.
I was the British cousin in that. That was not great for me.
I were fine.
It was fine. Yeah, it was fun.
But that one was
Are you guys still working on it?
Oh, that one was a good learning project.
Yeah.
We're trying to
That was
to edit it together.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, we really should have done this, and we
Yeah.
really should have done this. Definitely shouldn't have done this.
Hindsight.
Yeah. So it was good in the way that like the people I met, I still have lasting relationships with, and
That's
good
where
things.
I met you.
Yeah, good things to meet.
Yeah.
Good people to meet. Good things to learn. Now we're working on X-Men, so we're trying to do.
Oh, cool.
But the whole thing of it is like we're trying to. Big theme of the X-Men is like diversity, and that Xavier and Magneto are kind of stand-ins for Martin Luther King and
oh, really?
Malcolm X. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of like what they were based on,
Yeah.
more or less.
Interesting.
So we've cast an African American guy as Cyclops.
Okay.
We're just trying to do a lot of gender bendy casting.
Yeah.
We're making
Make it different.
Yeah, just kind of more
inclusive.
Yeah,
more
inclusive and just hammer in that theme.
Yeah.
And so we're still working on that. We filmed the trailer for it, and once that's almost done, we just have some special effects to do on it, and then we'll put that out, do like a GoFundMe.
Oh, I want to pick your brain on GoFundMes. Yeah, raising money for projects. That's something I was just introduced to with this producer world. Because one, I've just been working and trying to pay for it myself, but I can only work so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
you still got bills to pay
Yeah.
and a life to live.
Yeah,
so
you still have to like make your life livable. How do you even start with GoFundMes? Is that anything you know about?
We kind of did that with, we did it with Star Wars, and we didn't get the initial kind of reaction we were hoping for.
Yeah, we hoping for a good reaction.
Well, I mean, we got a good reaction. People
Yeah.
were excited about it, but
Yeah.
I think people need to like see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like for Star Wars, we did like interviews with, me and the other cast members, and the director, who was your brother. I think you know him.
No, I might have met him once or twice.
We did like that, but for X-Men, what we're trying to like change from what we did last time was we shot a trailer just for the GoFundMe to really like, these are the characters, these are the people that you're gonna see on screen, so that they can hopefully like get attached to it and kind of understand what we're doing. Whereas Star Wars, it was like, hey, check out some cool lightsaber fight clips. Where like they don't know what the plot is, they don't know why they should care. Yeah. Other than there's a lightsaber fight. Yeah.
One thing, Dimitri and I, we wrote a film noir that we're going to be filming pretty soon.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. And we're going to start a GoFundMe also, and what we're doing is we're taking one of the scenes and turning it into a graphic novel.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
And we're going to like make that one of the tiers of like, hey, if you give a certain amount, we'll give this to you. It's going to be really good. Because again, I work at a restaurant with an up and coming artist, and he was like, yes, I'll turn that into a graphic novel for you.
Yeah.
And so, you just find people to work on stuff with you. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what is there to say about crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding, that it's tough.
I know.
You gotta give them a really good reason to fund your stuff.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is like fans of your work, or fans of the whatever property you're kind of working on. That's another important thing. If you're gonna use somebody else's intellectual property, you can't be making money off of it. You gotta be careful with that. So like, my buddy Nate did a Batman Beyond thing, and it was awesome. Can't make any money off it because that's not ours.
Yeah.
And luckily, man, freaking Nate hit the lottery. He met this dude, super cool dude named Rick Neat, and he was just like, "Oh, you need some money for your thing?
Everyone, write down that name. Target him."
No.
I'm kidding.
Leave the man alone.
Yeah.
He helped us out.
Edit that
out.
It
was awesome.
No, edit somebody Rick Nurser.
Yeah, bleep his name.
Yeah.
But he's super awesome. He was so kind to us.
So you have to find the person for every genre you're working on.
Yeah.
Essentially, you have to find people who really believe in whatever story. And there are going to be those people out there.
Yeah, there will be guys who just love the character, and they're like, I'd love to see this brought to even a small screen. Mm-hmm. But it's important that you don't give up. Like, even if your crowdfunding doesn't go quite as planned, push forward, because it's so satisfying at the end of it to like put it out and be like, I made this. Yeah. I worked for 2.5 years trying to get
and
this
it's done.
out.
Yeah. So those kind of fan-made things, are those able to put in festivals? Do you know? Do you have any idea?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it has to be original if it's going to go to a festival.
Mm-hmm. But and also when you're crowdfunding, if you don't meet your goal, don't they keep the money? Or is that only some places?
It depends on which one you use.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember which is which, but like one of them, you get to keep whatever money you fund, and the other, if you
don't make
your goal, then you don't get anything.
Yeah, why would you
There's
do
like
that?
GoFundMe, and then what's the other one?
Kickstarter. Is all or nothing.
Kickstarter's all or nothing. Got it.
Indiegogo, you have the option.
That's so intense.
To do all or nothing, or
yeah, the Indiegogo.
Why would you choose?
That's right.
Why would you choose that? Like, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
I don't know.
Kickstarter just has like more of a reputation. Yeah.
Okay, so it's
more
probably
people are on it.
Easier to get it.
So it's one of those gambles.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it costs a lot to make a set.
Mhm.
Like, you never think about it when you're watching a movie, but you're like, okay, you have to pay the actors, you have to pay for the food on set, you pay for the water, and...
Well, one, hire your friends, don't pay them, get cheap pizza. No, just kidding.
These are hacks, man.
Yeah, produce a life.
Yeah. But then you're like, okay, pretty much everything that you see on camera either had to be, like, acquired or bought.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, okay, bat suit. I don't know. How expensive was that?
I mean, custom made that.
2 G's?
Damn!
I put it through the ringer. Thing held up pretty well. Gotta say.
Yeah, you got your money's worth. That
Yeah.
batsuit. Insert picture of Joe in batsuit.
Yeah, with my red hair. Because I was playing Danny
with
at
his
the time.
awful red hair.
Well, it wasn't long yet, so
Yeah.
it wasn't terrible. It was once it was red and long. That was the issue.
Yeah. All right. So right now you're working for Pirates.
Yeah.
So you have to do a bunch of stunts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel scary or dangerous or?
That's something I'd like to say. If anyone wants to get into stunts,
Mm-hmm.
it shouldn't feel dangerous or scary.
Falling from 40 feet? What? That sounds fun.
So there's...
Sounds awful.
I'm going to quote a really old parkour guy. God, he said this.
Please say his YouTube name.
I don't even remember his name.
At parkour
Tim
78.
Sheaf. His name is Tim Sheaf.
Okay.
He was a big handstand guy. Like that was like his major thing. He was really good at handstands. But he had this.
You from a freshman year.
He did inspire me like trick wise, but he
Yeah.
also said something that really resonated with me. Where he said like, people say I'm crazy when I do this parkour stuff, and I translate that to when I do my stunt work.
Mm-hmm.
That like people say I'm crazy, but like when I'm up there, I don't want to feel adrenaline. I don't want to feel my heart pumping really fast. If I'm about to do like a high fall or about to do like this big sword fight with like actual metal swords, I don't want to feel my heart pumping. I want to feel calm and centered. If I feel my heart pumping, I feel like a bunch of adrenaline going, I won't do it because that's when mistakes get made and that's when bad things happen.
Yeah, and you're pushing past.
Yeah, so like people see the stunt industry, it's controlled chaos to the nth degree. Like no stunt coordinator is going to hire you if like you're an adrenaline junkie. Like you have to be able to control those two parts of your life where like parkour is fun for me and I like throwing tricks into a foam pit or just having my playtime on the floor. But when you're on set doing stunts, it's not the time. Like it's not the time to be doing backflips for no reason because everyone else is going to view that as extremely unprofessional. It's like you're on set to do this job and maybe you can do a backflip 99 times out of 100 and nothing's going to happen. But guess what? That one time it's going to happen on set before your big moment and you're going to bust your ankle and then it's going to be like, well, now the shot's ruined. Now we wasted all this money on set for the day and the guy who we hired to do this thing can't do it. And so it's a very important thing to be as professional as possible, especially when it comes to stunts. Like,
I mean, it's dangerous. And
it's dangerous. It's you take a calculated risk, and that's how I hurt my knees. We were just rehearsing some flips, just trying some stuff, and it wasn't even necessarily like. I mean, I try not to say it as much as I can, but it wasn't my fault. There were some blocks that we were flipping on that weren't like pushed together, so they weren't stable.
Yeah.
So when I landed on them, it all fell down,
Oh, God.
and that's how my knee got injured.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where it was like, this is safety checks. This is making sure everything is in its proper place before you do stunts because they are dangerous.
Yeah.
So you want to make it as safe as you can.
Yeah.
But it's a fine line you ride, so you have to make sure you're doing all of your homework and doing the best you can to make sure everything is safe for everybody else. So it's important. It's very important.
Yeah, don't go flipping around.
The name of the game in stunts is longevity.
See how long you can survive.
Yeah, like when you take a fall out of a window or you have to land flat on your back on concrete. and they go, hey, you think we could go for one more? You gotta know your worth at that point and be like, no.
Oh, is it okay to say no? I mean, I guess obviously it's always okay to say no.
As a stunt
but, you know
performer?
what I mean? Because that's your job. So at what point can you be like, oh, okay, I kind of need to rest?
It's a fine line to ride. You have to be sure that, like...
You actually need it.
Yeah, like if... There's been times where you'll do a stunt and then the camera...
Wasn't on?
No, wasn't on. That's a whole nother issue. If you're a film set, the camera wasn't on.
Get off that film
set. Get off that set. Like, if maybe like, oh, it was just out of focus, or it was, oh, we panned a little too late. Those are things that are, like, kind of forgivable. You're like, okay, I understand that from, especially working on the other side, where you have to, like, take a look at all the footage and edit it together. You can understand that, but when it's like, oh, man, you know, maybe we could just one more, maybe just, like, do this at the end, or do this, you kind of...
You're like, are you even going to use that?
You just got to know your limits.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you gotta be like, hey, if I do this any more times, my back's gonna be jacked up. I do stunts for a living. Like, my only jobs are performing right now, so if I can't go to work tomorrow at Universal, that's why I don't get paid. So you have to be able to...
So I'm not gonna do a triple backflip.
Yeah, you gotta know your limits. But that's also, that comes into choreographing these things, where it's like, okay, so I'm gonna do this move that I can only do once or twice a day. Maybe don't put that one in. Maybe do the one that you can do 9 times a day. So that you know you have a good take at the end of the day. So it's a lot of thought has to go into it. You never want to get on set and be like, all right, cool, let's make something up. Unless you're like, I have friends that I can do that with, where it's like, we've worked together many times, so we can just like, all right, let's put a fight together, and then 10 minutes later, we've got a fight. Boom, easy.
You should be filming that stuff.
Oh, we do. It's on Instagram.
Follow him.
Shout out to
Joseph.
Josh Chavez.
Hey, Josh.
My
I don't know you.
Fight partner in all of my Instagram videos.
He's like your only friend on Instagram.
No, we just work together a lot at Universal. So we're just like, let's fight, man.
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, so you're doing a lot of stunt work right now. So you have these live shows. Do you think are you missing more of those acting roles in your life? Are you comfortable now? Not saying it's not acting, but you know.
I always want to do more acting stuff. Like, I feel like that's more of my main thing. Like, stunts is just something I'm an actor who happens to be very, like, physical. Is kind of how I like to play it. Stunts, I've had a lot of success, and I meet a lot of really cool people doing it who want to give me work. But, acting is, like, my main focus. If I could have, like, Jackie Chan, Tom Cruise type of career, that's like my main goal.
So you're mostly, do you say you're mostly getting your acting roles because you do stunts though? And how does that feel? It's
not recently.
Right?
Not recently. Okay. I've been doing some acting just off of auditions and things like that, but it's always good to be like multi-talented. Like, if I don't care what you're multi-talented with, make sure you bring it up, put it on your resume, have it be a thing in conversations.
Yeah.
Like, bring it up somehow.
Just always talk about yourself. Sell yourself.
Yeah, I mean, sell the stuff you're good at. That's kind of how this industry is.
Yeah. You know what sucks? Like, for me, my skill is I talk good. I talk real good. I talk good. Yeah. So I can't do, like, backflips or anything. But that's why, you know, this podcast is like, what can I do? I can talk to people and be interested in what they say.
Huzzah.
You know?
Yeah, always be doing 2 or 3 things.
Yeah, whatever they are. Oh, do you have any dream role? Like, if you could...
Like a dream role?
Yeah.
Dream role.
I know one.
Is it Spider-Man? Because he looks like Spider-Man? Sorry, everyone says
Robin.
it. I had to say it. On.
Dude, okay, so...
Robin?
Robin. I'd be down to play Robin.
Like Batman and Robin?
Like the Tim Drake Robin. Right?
Okay,
so
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know.
So there's the first Robin, Dick Grayson. He goes on to become Nightwing.
Okay.
There's Jason Todd.
Okay.
He goes on to become Red Hood. And then there's he's not the newest anymore. That's right. We got freaking Damian Wayne. Yeah. We got Jason Todd, who's the third Robin. Yeah. And his whole thing is he's the smartest Robin. He basically found out who Batman was. Yeah. Went to him and was like, "Hey, yo.
I'm your Robin."
Sup, Bruce Wayne? And he was like, "What?" And he's like, "I know you're Batman." Anyway, I want to be your Robin. And he's like, no. And he's like, "I'll tell everyone." And he's like, "Fine, be my Robin."
He coerced his way in.
That's right.
Damn.
And then now he's going on being solo as Red Robin.
Okay.
So he's my favorite one.
Nice.
So I definitely want to play him. But yeah, it's probably already been said before by people watching this. I look a lot like Tom Holland.
I say it every day to myself.
Also,
I don't.
What's up, Tom Holland? I'll
Hey.
do your wides.
Ooh.
I'll be your stuntman any day.
Is that a thing you can do? Can you hit up Tom Holland's agent?
Oh,
Yeah.
so
How does that work?
I'm even pro.
How do you do? Yeah.
So a friend of mine, the company I work for at Universal, they had like a kind of get together where like the younger guys like me can ask questions to like the older guys.
That's cool.
And that was one of the questions I asked. I was like, hey, so I look like an actor whose
Guess
roles involve a lot of stunt work. I was like, how do you go about becoming his stuntman? I was like, how does that even work?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, so you look like him, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, film stunts or fights in the kind of costumes that actor usually plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like what character he plays, do stunts and fights in that. And like in the same style if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and send it to the casting director, send it to the stunt coordinator. He goes, because I assume he already has a stuntman. I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, one day that stuntman's going to get married or have kids or get too old.
Or get a better job.
Yeah. And he's like, and guess what? Doesn't want to do it anymore. Now they got to go through the file. Oh, there's this young guy. He's only 25. He looks just like him. Boom, you're in. He goes, be on file. Let them know you exist. They have, like, even if you just go into a file box, at least your name is in, like, the running.
Yeah.
Because right now, if I don't send anything in, they don't know I exist.
Exactly.
They'd have to find me, even though I tag some of my parkour stuff as like at Tom Holland or like hashtag look like Tom Holland, hashtag I'll totally do your stunts, hashtag Tom Holland hire me.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, if you put something on Instagram and you just tag the actor and tag people, do you think that would work? I mean, that's kind of like because. It's iffy because it's like attacking a personal page.
I don't know
if
if they even look at it.
Yeah,
because I'm sure they get tagged in stuff all day.
That's true. Yeah, but at this point, if I was tagged in something, I would be like, "What the hell?" But no one's trying to be my stunt double.
I do some archery stuff right now.
Yeah.
And I also hear that I look like a young Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
And so I do a lot of my archery stuff, and I'll tag Jeremy Renner in it.
Yeah.
But I still haven't gotten hired for anything, so I don't think that works necessarily.
Just keep tagging it.
But they are planning on doing like a Hawkeye solo thing.
Boom.
So I'm like, hire me.
You could.
Please.
Yeah. You know the thing is though with Spider-Man, doesn't he wear a mask and all his stunt stuff?
Most of it.
Yeah.
And he has credit to, I can't remember his name right now, but he has like two guys who are like parkour legends.
Mm-hmm.
And they are doing all like the in-suit stuff.
That's funny, they probably started on YouTube.
Oh,
they
man,
probably
they did. They're so good.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good. They do stuff I could never even dream of doing.
Like what is there anything that you dream of doing stunt-wise that to someone who doesn't know stunts would be, you know?
Well, that's not even, I'm more talking about like parkour stuff.
Oh, parkour, okay.
They're just like, they can like front flip 10 feet, land on a small, like very thin wall, and then front flip off of it. Off to another big gap, and I'm just like, you get to a point in physical things where you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I can get better, but I'm never going to be that good. Like, you can see a wall up ahead. Mm-hmm. You can push through small boundaries, but you're like, there are people who can just, like, you can explain how a trick works.
Yeah.
And then they can just do it. And that's not how a lot of people are.
Huh.
Like, for me, you have to explain how it works, and then I have to try it, and then you have to explain it again, and I'm like, oh, this thing with that. Yeah, I got to pull this way. But some people, you can just tell them, like, oh, yeah, so put your arm up, twist when you're just upside down, and then make sure your legs don't cross, and then whoop, off they go.
Yeah.
They've got it.
I mean, you think... Oh, gosh. You're moving a lot. No. Do you think... I mean, would that make it impossible for you? Or do you think you can actually do things and it's just not as easy? Like, is anything possible for any human, do you think? I know that's a technical question. You know, like, if I was like, hey, I want to do stunts tomorrow, could I be Joe Santos in 6 months?
In 6 months?
no, but you know what I mean? Do you, like, and those guys...
Stunts tomorrow, can I be Joe Santos?
Yeah.
I would say yeah. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say there is a physical aspect to it, but there is, like, a lot of mental stuff that happens up here, like knowing technical terms of sword work, learning with a lot of different swordsmen, and knowing how they, like, prefer to call their parries or call their attacks.
Oh, so the specific style.
Yeah,
so it's like if you're in a different type of film, you can.
Yeah, like working at Pirates, they prefer to call like right leg, right shoulder, head, and there's another system where the parries are all numbered. So like this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and so it's just learning different styles, and so that's just experience. But yeah, I don't think it's really a physical issue unless you have like something wrong with your joints, because you have to be kind of able to take some punishment. Like going home from a day on set doing stunts, you're gonna have scrapes, you're gonna have bruises. It's just gonna happen. Yeah. But yeah, unless you have something like that, I would say you could definitely do it. You just have to make sure you work very slowly and very methodically. Like don't jump straight into doing flat backs. Start on a very squishy mat, learning the basics of like, this is how you land, and this is how you like take a fall, learn how to roll. But like, yeah, it's like I was saying earlier, the name of the game is longevity. Yeah. So learn slowly, learn precisely. Because if you start getting lazy, start doing stuff wrong, that's when like people start collapsing their spines. And I've had friends who injure themselves trying moves too early that they thought they were ready for, but they definitely weren't. Yeah. So so definitely don't think just because I'm physically capable I can do stunts. Yeah. It's a whole another ball game. Yeah. Yeah.
Which actually I thought of this other question. So right now you're obviously doing stunt work as your main job, and it's like, oh, living the dream and everything, but how many hours of stunts do you think you had to do like a week to even get to like it's not like you just woke up and you're like, okay, I can do this now. How many hours of practice do you think it took before you were able to get these kind of jobs?
Oh man.
And any recommended amount of time to spend on any kind of craft before you can be hired?
Well, there's like an old adage where it's like 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
There's one that I really like that says an amateur will practice till they get it right, and a master will practice till they can't get it wrong. That's a good viewpoint to have, especially with stunts and like because there's so many things mixed up in stunts. There's gymnastics, there's like martial arts, there's acting, there's fighting for the stage, which is a completely, and then there's different styles even within fighting and stage, because there's like in Pirates we do theater in the round, so if you do a punch on camera, you're literally just sending it offline so that it crosses their face. You do a fight in Pirates where there's people
every
over there,
single
there's
direction.
people over there. You literally have to telegraph so hard and then like wrap.
And then maybe like hit right there.
Oh, it's completely like.
Yeah, I'm so impressed by the things I see. I've seen it maybe like 3 times ish, maybe 4, but I love it every time. Yeah, it's so fun.
It's learning where to operate in all these different styles and kind of. Like, I'm not a martial artist by trade. My thing is, like, the flips and the parkour aspect of it. But you meet guys who can do martial arts, and you just listen to whatever they have to say, train what they have, and just try to pick up other things. Like, it's a multifaceted business. You've got gymnasts who come in. You've got martial artists. You've got circus people. So it's really weird.
Yeah.
Stunts is weird.
Meet a lot of people.
Yeah. People who get set on fire.
Yeah, I saw that one show at Universal where the guy gets set on fire.
The special effects show?
Yeah. I like it.
One of our Durmstrang just got hired to do the fire burn part.
Is that something that would be scary for you? Or are you...
I super want to do it.
You want to do it?
Oh, yeah.
These stunt guys are so weird. You're like, what's the scariest thing? I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only for like a couple minutes.
It's not that bad. You just got to hold your breath.
Any final words and anything you're working on that you might want to plug for people who are watching? Any links, projects?
Always try to know your worth. That's going to be a thing that comes up a lot. Like, once you get to a certain point in your career, if it's not a good friend of yours, don't work for free. Because at a certain point, like, copy and credit and exposure doesn't pay the bills.
It's true.
Yeah, just if anyone's if an agent or anyone's offering you like, oh, I'll get you work, but you have to pay me a certain amount of money to start with, that's a big no.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, casting websites, it's a different story. always do LA casting. Always have Casting Frontier.
Is backstage good? It's like that's for a little bit more for like the student. Student or like pretty in.
Backstage is a little more like starting out.
But
like,
you can still book stuff off
you can book. I heard about that Virginia job off of backstage.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA Casting Frontier. Don't be ashamed to do extra work. You know, it's usually like 100 something a day, but you learn how to be on set. You learn, you know, how directors call things. They're like, all right, you know, sound speeding, camera rolling. You learn these things so that when you're an actor and you actually have some lines or something, you don't hear camera rolling and then you start talking. Never be that guy. Always wait to hear action.
Did you do that once? No.
I mean,
this is from experience.
It was an acting class
when
we did acting for the camera, but never. Always wait for action. I don't care if there's like explosions going off. You just stand there and wait.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I didn't hear action." And they're like, "Oh,
our
bad."
Yeah, they can't say you're wrong because.
Yeah, like I didn't hear action.
Yeah.
But
Oh man, I've had so many cringy moments in like acting classes on camera.
Like never stop taking acting classes. That's a big thing. Like always keep sharpening. You know, your tools that you have, and just go for it. If you look stupid, do another take. It's fine.
Also, don't be afraid of looking stupid because that's half the thing people want. Just be able to put yourself out there.
Yeah. On Instagram, I'm at Joseph Ray Santos because Joe Santos was already taken by some old Italian guy.
I saw that when I was trying to look up your IMDb. I'm like, who the hell is Joe Santos?
Yeah, old Italian guy. So
let's get you on this.
Yeah. So Joseph Ray Santos because I'm a 3-namer. Hopefully like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Because he's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram.
I think he has my same birthday. Sorry.
Oh, really? That's awesome. And then hopefully me and my friends at Midnight Oil Productions are trying to put out a trailer for our thing X-Men Revolution soon.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, and go check out their GoFundMe.
Yeah. Also check out go check out Static Dawn of the Metabreed.
Yeah.
I played Richie Foley in that.
He does.
That's another thing by Nate, the man behind the camera.
Hey, it's Nate.
I'm a real person.
He's a real person.
I exist. Great. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. This was good.
It's good.
Thanks.
I'm
sorry. Oh.
Sorry. I don't even think that.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, thank you everyone. Let me start over.
She was trying to say thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. This has been really fun. I liked it a lot. All right.
Sweet. Let me know when your brother's on so I can.
Oh yeah.
From behind the camera.
Oh yeah, you can be the guy behind the camera.
Exactly. Joe Santos was taken by an old Italian guy.
Damn it, Joe Santos. Everyone follow Joseph Ray.
That's right. He'll probably be dead soon. He's really old.
And then you'll buy off his Instagram followers.
Exactly. Yeah, he's really old.